Ladies and gentlemen, celebrating 5 years as a podcaster, introducing Nate the Great!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a special edition of the Game Changer Podcast. I am your host, NateFNGreat, back after a bit of a long hiatus, but got the groove back. I'm feeling great. Been doing some wrestling matches, and I am feeling just a little sore, but also very proud at what content is going to be coming in the near future. So definitely tune in, you guys. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So for this episode, with everything that's going on and the theme being March Madness, it was brought to my attention that ACW kind of did their own March Madness bracket. So I just wanted to do this episode, and it's going to be a straightforward episode where I'm going to talk about the March Madness bracket that we have here. Going to go through every single one of these and find out who would be the victor in this March Madness bracket. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it. First up, in the first seed, we have Aaron Arsenal against Drake Daniels. I'm not going to lie, he has definitely been a very dominant force, and he has definitely been one of those guys who has made a tremendous impact in ACW right now. Honestly, it's going to be Drake Daniels. He's a pretty tough force to get by, and he would definitely wreck Aaron Arsenal like no tomorrow. Next up, we have ACW Mitchell taking on Brock Hall. This one might be a little bit more of a tough one because ACW Mitchell is a really talented individual, but so is Brock Hall. The only difference is I think that Brock Hall has a little bit more charisma than ACW Mitchell does, all due respect. I am giving this one to Brock Hall. The guy I've known for a while. He's a really cool guy, very talented in the ring. Definitely would pull off the win against ACW Mitchell. Now, I am going to state this, that there are a few seats on this card where it is literally me going to be complaining because it's not fair that a lot of these matches are happening right away, but it is what it is, and this is one of them, being Big Cat versus Backwoods Brown. That's a tough one because I'm a huge fan of the Players Club. I'm a huge fan of Big Cat. He's great, but I cannot deny the presence and the power that Backwoods Brown just really demonstrates every single time he's in the ring. This is a tough one. Oh boy. Between the two, I'm going to give it to Backwoods just because while it would be a great match to have between these two guys, and it would be definitely a testament of who has the bigger force and the absolute, better strength, Backwoods, in my opinion, in this deal is going to pull off the win here. Next up, we have Collin Brooks versus Adam Grace. I've had the chance to witness a few of their matches on the independent scene, so they are evenly matched, and it always just depends on the day between the two of them. I'm always a fan of Collin Brooks, but Adam Grace is really starting to grow on me. I'm going to give it to Adam Grace solely on the fact right now that Adam Grace has been on quite the roll for the last few months, and Collin Brooks, he just lost the frontline heavyweight title to Cody Jacobs. So I'm giving the win to Grace in this one. Next up, we have Ethan Matthews taking on Miles Mason, my favorite C-plus player. Between the two, another really tough one. I think with all the momentum that's going on with him, I'm giving it to Miles Mason on this one. Ethan Matthews is definitely a very charismatic star, and he's definitely very gifted in the ring, but I think Miles Mason would find a way to just absolutely cheat his way to win. I'm just saying. Next up, we have Joey Avalon versus Local Dad Eric. Love Local Dad, but Joey Avalon all the way. Joey just is one of the best in Wisconsin, and he is very tough. to compete with. So that's my pick for that. Coda Jacobs versus Justin Dredd. Giving it to the most politically correct, if not incorrect, wrestler in all the world. I'm giving it to Coda Jacobs. We have Logan Lynch versus Jay Cash. Logan Lynch is very, very powerful. The experience I definitely would put in the favor of Jay Cash, but I think that Logan Lynch would definitely still have the fresher mind as well as the more experience to like the modernized wrestling. So I'm giving it to Logan Lynch on this one. Next up we have Nick Colucci against Sierra. This is an interesting matchup that they threw in here, but between the two, Sierra has definitely kind of grown on me a bit, but I am going to give it to Nick Colucci on this one. We have Ragnar versus Shane Hills. Got to give it to Shane Hills. He's very experienced, but he is also one of those guys who just knows how to just beat the hell out of everybody who's in front of him. Now, this is one I am very pissed about because you're making me pick the between two of my favorite people, that being Salem Crane and Randy Fitzsimmons. This is just not fair. This is one that I looked at and I thought, you are not going to get me on any good footing with this one. So, oh my gosh. Salem Crane is the current Water City champion. Randy Fitzsimmons, he's absolutely amazing. I know I'm going to piss somebody off, but I got to make a choice. I'm picking Salem Crane for this one. I'm going to get so much heat for this. Sean Priest taking on Peter Schwanz. Got to give it to Peter Schwanz. Even though Priest is one of those guys who has a very bizarre mindset, Peter Schwanz is one of those guys who just, keeps coming back for more, and he continues to just kill it in the ring. Next up, we have Stacey Shadows versus your boy Roy. This is kind of nice, but Stacey's going to kill Roy. Moving on, we have Swoggle taking on Willie Wild. Willie has more of the size advantage. Swoggle has the experience advantage. I think it's because of that experience advantage that I'm giving it to Swoggle on this one. We have TW3 taking on Tyler Sullivan. Doesn't seem like... No, giving it to TW3. It's again, deals with experience, but also TW3 is very quick in the ring. He just knows how to bring it. Final spot here, we have XTC taking on Steve Sawyer. This is one that can go either way. Steve Sawyer is really tough in the ring, but XTC has a lot of heart. I think it's because of that heart I'm giving it to XTC. So we're moving on to the 16 bracket, which we start off with Drake Daniels taking on Brock Hall. Again, I believe it just power game is what's going to be the deciding factor on here, and I'm giving it to Drake Daniels. So Drake Daniels is moving it to the final 8. Next up, we have Backwoods Brown against Adam Grace. Adam Grace has been on quite the roll. Backwoods Brown is just an irresistible force and an immovable object. I think because of that, I'm giving it to Backwoods Brown. Next up, it's Miles Mason versus Joey Avalon. Again, Joey Avalon all day. Sorry, there's really no denying that. Then we have Coda Jacobs versus Logan Lynch. Coda Jacobs would definitely try to take down Logan Lynch for that deal. It would not happen. So giving that one to Logan Lynch. We have Nick Colucci taking on Shane Hills, which I think I've seen them wrestle once or twice. They put on really good matches. I am giving this one to Colucci on this one, just because I think that Colucci would really find a way to battle through the pain and punishment that Shane Hill would provide, but also deal it back and deliver one hell of a Colucci Death Valley driver. Next up, we have Salem Crane versus Peter Schwanz. This is a tough one, but if I look at I think for me, what boils down to it is the veteran style. So I'm giving the win to Peter Schwanz on this one. As much as I love Salem Crane, Schwanz definitely has a huge veteran advantage. We have Stacy Shadows taking on Swoggle. Well, we've already kind of seen it. Size definitely does make a difference, but Stacy Shadows also has a really rough and tough style when it comes to her fighting deal. Pitting her and Swoggle, I'm going to give the victory to Stacy Shadow. And then finally, we have TW3 versus XTC. These guys just have chemistry in the ring. They absolutely do a great job, but it's because of the veteran side. I see TW3 picking up the victory here. All right, we're down to the final 8, going into the final 4. Oh boy, we have Drake Daniels taking on Backwoods Brown. Oh, would that be a great matchup? Would that be amazing? I definitely do see Drake Daniels like suplex. Oh, he did. He did suplex him. I did almost forget about that. I just saw that. It was amazing. The suplex game, the versatile game, just between the two, I'm giving it to Drake Daniels. I think that he's definitely going to be one of those guys who's just slowly getting to that point of really becoming the guy and just becoming the absolute and one of the best in Wisconsin. So Drake Daniels moves on to the final 4. Up next, we have Joey Avalon taking on Logan Lynch. These guys have had to have fought each other at least multiple occasions. In the end, though, giving it to Joey. Giving it to Joey Avalon. The guy just knows how to really bring in the heat, and he knows how to bring in the pain. Next up, we have Nick Colucci taking on Peter Schwanz. I'm actually going with Peter Schwanz on this one. As much as I love Colucci, as much as I think that he definitely could bring that toughness, I think that Peter Schwanz has the speed that can definitely make and really make the performance work well for him, but he could also make it something where he just finds a way to get maybe a quick victory out of nowhere. So picking Peter Schwanz for that one, he goes on to the final 4. And then we have TW3 against Stacy Shadows. Oh boy, this is going to be a tough one. Because you have the toughness and the strength of Stacy Shadows versus TW3's fast-paced, quick style. Oh boy, these are getting tougher now as time goes on. You definitely do see just more that you get into them. You really are barreling down, like which ones do you really think are going to pick up the victory here? You know what? I'm going for a shock deal here. I'm picking Stacy Shadows for this one. So, final 4, we have Drake Daniels, Joey Avalon, Stacy Shadows, and Peter Schwanz. So we have Drake Daniels against Joey Avalon. Joey for the win. I mean, as much as Drake Daniels is a rising star, there is no denying the absolute amazing repertoire that Joey Avalon can bring, and the absolute amazing veteranism that he has. Then we have Peter Schwanz taking on Stacy Shadows. In this, and either way you can't go wrong, whether it's Avalon and Schwanz or Avalon and Shadows. See, it's like, do I go with the fast-paced style again, or do I give it to the rough and tough Stacy Shadows? Man, that's gonna be that's a tough one. You know what? Again, going for the shock value, I'm picking Stacy Shadows for this one. In the end, we have Joey Avalon versus Stacy Shadows. Joey Avalon accomplished everything that there is to accomplish in ACW. Stacy Shadows has been a well-renowned star, battling in Ring of Honor, battling with women, anywhere and everywhere, just absolutely tearing it on the independent scene. But in the end, there's no denying that when you got a shovel, it's built for one thing, and that's for burying people 6 feet under. Joey Avalon wins March Madness. So this has been the ACW March Madness. Those are my picks going into this month. Hopefully I didn't burn any bridges with anybody. This was just clearly subjective. So if you guys definitely want to leave your opinions, let me know, whether going on Twitter, Instagram, or if you want to even go on the Facebook fan page, let me know what you guys think. Definitely check us out on many podcasting formats, and be sure to give a like and subscribe on the YouTube page. Got a lot of things coming up, you guys. Also working with the wrestling show as well as Notebook Entertainments with their FML series. So enjoy that, guys. This has been NateFNGreat, and have a good one. Stay safe, be smart, and you can make a difference by being a game changer one day at a time. Thank you guys so much. See you later.